In recent years, the principle of album buying completely changed and became problematic. Why is that? The bulk buying problem started in recent years when the demand to own more albums and therefore boost sales came to the scene. Back in the day, the number of albums sold used to reflect how big the fandom is, and while buying them wasn't mandatory, fans used to collect them as physical memorabilia, giving the company an estimated number of how many people would eventually invest money into the group. It used to be each person buying one, maybe two albums to complete their collection, but with the increased numbers of albums the companies put out, the bigger the need to owe them all got. There are groups like BTS, ATEEZ, or 17 who have multiple album collections, and putting them all together creates an image or word on the spine of the albums, so naturally fans want to own all of them. But besides collecting the albums, the sales are the true enemy of the environment and the true ally of the money-hungry companies. Every fandom wants their faves to be the most successful and place the highest on the charts. The main contributors to this are streaming and album buying, with the importance of both being stressed almost non-stop in the fandoms during the comeback season. Album buying comes on top because it contributes the most to the charts. According to the New York Times, one album equals 1,250 streams on a paid platform like Spotify and 3,750 streams on a free platform. To buy as many albums as possible, each fandom started organizing donations to place group orders so the fandom themselves can estimate how many albums they bought and how well would the group chart. Despite the rise in popularity of these donations, the masters of bulk buying and mass group orders still remain Chinese K-pop bars. They're usually focused on each member of the group and have members of the bar who place the orders. The advantage of ordering through a Chinese bar is the reward system the bar admins themselves have organized. For example, when you order 3 albums, you get a special keychain. The biggest number of orders in 2022 was made by BTS's V China Baidu V Bar, who spent $3.5 million on orders of the BTS's anthology album Proof. The numbers the bar pull usually show how popular each member is, which became an issue in the aespa fandom during their latest comeback. The Karina bar bought 335,000 albums, which outnumbered even Ningning's bar, who was Chinese. On the other hand, Giselle bar only bought 11,000 albums. While the girls are still getting paid equally, the stark difference is alarming, especially considering the girls have many years ahead of them and the difference in numbers might keep getting bigger. Another even more notable case was with IVE and the Chinese Wonyoung bar that bought 98,000 copies of the Love Dive album. IVE is a rookie group, and even though Wonyoung was a popular member of IVE's one before, it seems like she basically carried the Love Dive sales, since the overall number of the albums sold ended up being 500,000, making Wonyoung bar responsible for nearly 1/5 of all the albums sold. Does that make IVE exceptionally famous rookies, or is Wonyoung bar just extremely dedicated? The toxic systems of donations and bulk buying became so normalized that people in fandoms don't even think twice about it. Some fans voluntarily donate money to organized PayPal accounts just so different fans can later sign up and take funds to buy albums for the money. The whole system is problematic because not only does it mess up the numbers versus real-life popularity, but it creates an unfair system for the smaller groups where people won't organize these fundraisers. And let's not talk about the guilt tripping that can occur within the fandom, where there will always be a person who will say that you don't want your faves to succeed because you're not investing money in them. Even K-pop idols themselves are aware of the problem with bulk buying, which led to some speaking against it. Red Velvet's Wendy was one of the few idols who spoke up after one fan said that they were going to make a lot of money and go to your concert and buy your albums. This encouraged Wendy to say on Bubble, "Please don't buy multiple copies of our album. With that money, take care of your health or eat something yummy with your family." Bulk buying of albums is not only directed towards the charts, but it's also the companies directly deepening the problem with the organization of one-on-one online fan signs. During the pandemic, the present fan signs weren't possible, so the companies and the album distributors came up with an alternative. When you buy an album of an artist, you get a slot in the competition of winning an online fan call with the artist, with the slots multiplying with the albums bought. This led to many fans bulk buying albums just to secure their chance to speak to their favorite idol. It was kind of like the companies came up with their own reward system for fans that bought so many albums, as the albums were obviously counted towards the charts and helped with the group's popularity. Another album-related problem arose in recent years with K-pop photo cards. Back in the day, people used to pull photo cards as something cute, surrounded by surprise and mystery to see which one you would pull. Nowadays, it's a fight between who can secure the best and the rarest piece of cardboard sold by the companies. It all started with Dolbang Shingi back in 2007 when their first photo cards were put into their Japanese album Summer, but in South Korea, it wasn't until 2010 when Girls' Generation had their photo cards in their album Oh. Since then, photo cards started getting more frequent in K-pop albums and are now the most important part of the album, many times even more important than the CD. The problem started when, instead of exchanging the photo cards, the fans started reselling them, creating a business out of the most in-demand photo cards. Especially when the photo cards stopped stopped being limited to only those that came with the album, but different events and merch releases started offering special photo cards, which only made them harder to collect. The priciest and most expensive photo cards come from sets that were printed in minimal numbers or special events that only a small number of people could attend. For example, for the NCT 2020 album Resonance Part 1, there was a special silver yearbook card that you could get only if you ordered through a Korean site, as it was only included in the first batch of the albums. There were only 500 photo cards of each member printed, making it incredibly hard to obtain. Nowadays, these cards are selling for about $900 each, so if you want to collect all 23 members of NCT, get your credit card ready. Or when BTS held a special event in Seoul called Butterful Night, where the winners were part of the lucky draw competition for exclusive photo cards. Currently, a Jungkook photo card from this event is being sold on eBay for $3,500. The companies recognize how in-demand photo cards are since they started making pre-order exclusive photo cards. The company secures more sales even before the album is out, and the fans can look forward to special pieces of cardboard. Despite the many downsides of the photo card business, there is at least one upside to it, and that is stopping the downfall of physical copies in an age so digital. People lost the need to own physical copies of things, and that's not just music, but other kinds of media as well, since everything is on online streaming sites. But the special inclusions in albums really brought back the need to have a physical reminder of your favorite artist, since any type of media that is online can easily vanish. On the other hand, all the versions bought only for one particular thing like a photo card is creating a much bigger environmental problem. If someone orders 10 albums and hopes to obtain one photo card, what will they do with the rest of the albums? There is no way someone wants to have so many copies of one of the same thing at their home, and there's nothing else to do but throw the packaging out. There are many plastic wraps so the albums won't get damaged, and the packaging is made out of a hard and sustainable plastic and cardboard that is made to last. It's great if fans plan to keep and preserve the albums, but sadly, the materials that are made to last are hard to recycle. The bulk of buying the albums just for the artist to do well in the charts means owning way more albums compared to a casual fan, which means having more trash to throw out. A picture where a person threw out 2 cardboard boxes of NCT albums after taking out the photo cards went viral and faced backlash. According to the Gaon chart, in 2019, there were 24.5 million K-pop albums sold, whereas in 2021, that number doubled. However, in recent years, the companies became more aware of how much waste can be created by their album packaging and decided to take steps. YG announced their shift to eco-friendly packaging at the end of 2021. JYP and HYBE also promised to look for more eco-friendly packaging and eventually get rid of physical albums in general. JYP's vision is to have QR codes sent to the fans who bought the albums and only ship the photo cards, which should also be made out of more environmentally friendly material. So far, the latest album they made, Stray Kids Maxiden, is still a physical one, but is more book-like and made out of cardboard, which lessened the number of plastic used on the album. HYBE had the same vision as JYP to only have a digital Weverse album with the photo cards sent to the buyer. They partly tried this with 17's Face the Sun and Promise 9's From Our Memento box, where the albums were both released as Weverse digital albums, but also had physical copies. However, they fully realized this idea with J-Hope's Jack in the Box. There is no physical copy or photo book, only the photo cards that were sent to the fans who bought the album. Despite trying to go the most environmental route, HYBE got called out for being a hypocrite, as all of their other artists kept having physical copies, and so did their bandmate Jin, so the whole thing just didn't feel like a fair move to J-Hope's fans. The biggest changes can be seen by FNC Entertainment, as SF9's album The Wave OF9 is made out of materials that will decompose naturally. Do you think bulk buying of albums is a big problem in the K-pop community? Make sure to share your thoughts with us and check out our website for more K-pop stories. Bye guys!